you know, don't be afraid to use a big brush. I know it's a small model, but I got into that trap when I was new into the hobby, which I would try to use a fine detail brush for everything. Because it's, oh, I'm painting a small guy, I need a small brush. And then you just, it's like cutting the lawn with a pair of scissors. You know what I mean? It's like, you might get a fine result, but it's gonna take you forever. I'm Eric Locke from Eric's Hobby Workshop. I make tutorials on YouTube for crafting, painting, and all kinds of other things. I specialize in scratch-built terrain, but I also try to come up with a variety of other projects that help people come up with ideas for their own wargaming, building their armies, etc. Anything that sort of helps to inspire creativity is something I'm interested in.
So Eric, you just mentioned your favorite tool, and you just touched upon it was great for mixing speed paints for glazes.
That's right. I've been getting a lot of results recently that I've been happy with, that have sort of elevated my paint jobs by dabbling in glazing. It's not something I've traditionally done, but I've found I've got a lot more interesting looks specifically on faces by glazing a little bit of purple around the eyes, a little bit of red around the mouth, and you know, a little bit of red on the ear even brings out like really sort of like a lividity and life and variety that makes them look a lot less like a mannequin or wax sculpture. And it's like, it's really funny how these small details really elevate things. I used to think there was something complicated to it, but it's really just using very, very thin paints. And, and the best part is, the thinner you go, the more subtle it is, and you can always add more layers. So if you just have a bit of patience, you can actually get a very sophisticated result without taking much risk on your miniature.
Yeah.
And it's just all about layering, iteration, and the patience, really.
Yeah.
Which is what I like about it.
Do you think the speed paints are specifically good for that, or?
I like them for it because they're already a nice thin consistency, and you can, when you stretch them on the palette, you can see sort of what transparency you're at very quickly. I think they're also high pigmentation. They have nice vibrant colors, which really helps. Usually when I'm glazing, one of the things I'm trying to do is add saturation. So that's exactly what I'm looking for.
Exactly.
Like right here, I've got a nice vibrant blue on the palette. You can see even when it's stretched very thin, it still will add a beautiful blue tone to whatever I'm doing.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I do think speed paints are particularly good for it.
Yeah.
So what I like to do when I'm painting a face these days is I think about the different areas of the face and how to add some life. So I start by coming in with just some basic flesh tones, adding some highlights, and then I start glazing in red around the ears, around the nose, and around the eyes I tend to like some blues and purples.
Yeah.
And just those few steps adds a ton of life to the character and really makes them look more realistic, more alive. It's really been a kind of breakthrough for me in taking my faces to the next level, which is always incredibly gratifying when you have that sort of breakthrough.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your top tips with us, Eric.
It's been my pleasure. I've had a great time here at the factory, getting to know everybody and seeing how you guys do things. And you've got a great culture and great energy, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.